Guys, welcome back. Hope you're having an awesome day. Back with more videos here, sharing my new purchases. This time, you guys could see, is a big one. This is from Storm Collectibles. Earthquake from Samurai Shodown. Specifically, this is branded as Samurai Shodown 6. I know this guy from Samurai Shodown 2 from a while back. So as you guys can see, just fair warning, it's a pretty big size box. So if you decide to get this, expect a decent size box here. I got mine from Big Bad Toy Store. I think this is around 170 something odd dollars, not including tax. Again, things are getting crazy expensive nowadays. So just something to keep in mind. Here is the figure itself on the side. On the back, we've got, again, more shots of the figure, the different accessories that he comes with, and the different faces as well. And on the side here, you got some artwork. So definitely looking forward to opening up this big piece of plastic crack, and getting it added to the collection. So let's see how it turns out. All right, guys, so let's move on here with Earthquake. Right out of the box, first impressions, this guy's humongous. A couple of things that this guy comes with. Obviously, you guys could see the nice background. I think a lot of the other Storm Collectibles come with backgrounds from the relevant games. This is no different. Pretty good size. Again, pretty nice to have for photography. Obviously, you could see me here manhandling Big Earthquake, but we'll leave him for last. Accessory wise, you get a couple of different hand options. So you get these hands here that are really well done. I mean, they match the skin complexion really well there. These are, I guess, more relaxed hands with the blue patches, and there with the black detailing. So pretty well done. So you get those. You get a pair of pointing finger hands. So again, he can point on both hands. So that's the second pair. And again, pretty similar. You got the blue patch here and the black with the X's. Again, really well done. Next set of hands are to hold the weapon that he comes with. And I'll show you the sickle and chain. I'll show you that in a second. So these are sculpted to hold the weapon that we just talked about. And again, very similar styling. So that's the third pair. Fourth pair of hands, you got this grasping or reaching out hands. You get, of course, two of them. So again, similar in style. You can see some of the skin color complexion there matches, I think, really well with the rest of the figure. Not a lot of detail on the fingernails. Would have been nice, a little more detail there. I mean, you can see a faint outline, but for the most part, the fingernails are the same color as the skin, which looks a little bit off. And all hands are very similar. So that is the fourth set of hands. And a fifth set of hands that you get here is these palms. Again, if he wants to palm, I guess, very similar to a sumo wrestler, I guess. He can palm his opponents around. And again, very similar styling. So that is the hands. So again, in total, you get 5 pairs. Of course, not including the ones that he comes with. Next would be these heads. You get 3 of them. And we'll start off with this one where he's kind of looking off to the side here. You guys could see it there. You've got the nice, I guess, his tattoos on both of his eyes, the flames in blue with the red outline. This one, his expression is kind of looking off to the side there. The eyeballs are not movable or anything. So again, they give you this extra head. And again, very similar to the head that he comes with. Very plain, but I guess it fits the character and the animation style of that particular game. So again, you could see it there. There's the ear, so pretty big chunky head, and these just kind of pop out. There's a socket that you pop them out of the body and put them on. Next thing is this one where he kind of looks like he's drunk. He's got the mouth off to the side with the teeth and the tongue. You could see the inside of the mouth there. Again, the tattoos, the red and blue is done really well, similar to the other head end. The eyes, of course, are a whole different expression there, and similar style to the other head. Again, I think is done well. In this particular head, you could see some of the, I guess, line. I'm assuming it looks like this was sculpted into different parts and maybe attached together. It's not too bad, but you could faintly see the little line work there in the middle, straight ahead. And then lastly, the last head is this one where he's sticking his tongue out. Kind of looks a bit goofy there, or I don't know, kind of creepy. But again, same style as the other heads. You got the blue tattoos on his eyes with the red outlines. The eyes are done really well, and the mouth, the teeth, and the tongue looks some really nice detail. And again, same thing here. You can see the inside with the hole for the socket. And yeah, that's it. And last but not least is the accessory here, which is his sickle and chain. This is all plastic. I don't know if you guys could see it there. It's done really well. You know, you've got this nice black outline on the blade part of it, and you know, the lighter gray there. So again, plastic, it's like a hard plastic, so just be careful with it. I mean, it feels solid, so I don't think you should have any issues. Here, the handle here is also plastic. You've got this nice green detailing on the handle, on the spikes on the ends of the handle here, and the actual handle itself is almost like a bamboo type look that they were going for. You can see some of the detailings there. It looks like you just grabbed a bamboo shoot, and that's what he used to make this weapon. Then moving on down here, you have this nice chain, which initially I thought it was plastic. I think when you feel it to the touch, it's cold, like it's metal. I mean, if this is plastic, they've done a pretty convincing job with the paint and the feel. And I don't know if you guys can hear it. It doesn't sound like plastic. So I'm going to assume that these chain links here are actually metal, which is really nice. They feel nice to the touch. They have some nice weight to it, and I think it really gives some nice quality feel to the figure or to the accessory. And then lastly, you have this you know, the end of the weapon here. This is plastic as well. Would have been nice to maybe have this be metal as well, but I mean, just the fact that this chain came out looking pretty nice looking, and it feels great in the hand. You know, I think it's a pretty cool accessory there. You guys can see it in this green there. And then that leaves big boy here, Earthquake. This is a pretty big figure. When I do the size comparisons, you guys will see. So again, not disappointed at all with the size. He looks awesome. Again, I think they've nailed it from the aesthetic look. Again, pretty much what I remember from Samurai Shodown. As I said earlier, when I showed the box, I'm mainly familiar with Earthquake from Samurai Shodown 2, but I don't think his look has evolved too much. I think he always had the pants with the vest there, and it was all ripped up, and he had the tattoos and everything. So definitely nailed it in the look wise. Size wise, again, as I said, is a very nice big chunky figure. I think they've done a pretty good job with the detailing there. Just showing you some of the closer, give a closer look there on that one head that comes with the figure. Again, you know, you've got the same detailing. This one's got a bit more of an open mouth with the teeth and the tongue there, and the details on the side. And again, they've done a pretty good job with the animation style for this figure there. Same thing with some of the cloth details there on the vest ripped up. You got the black outline with the little, I don't know if this is stitching or X's right here that I'm pointing at, but again, very well done. And you've got the little tears on the edges of the arms and everything. No detailing on the back, it's all plain. You know, you've got some nice subtle shading, I think, that was done in the line work. So there are some of this line work here that it is slightly darker to give it, I guess, a bit more depth. So I think if that's what they were going for, it certainly does accomplish that really well. You've got the tattoos, very similar in color to what was on his head, again with the red outline. So I think great job there. Following up here with the forearms, these sections here, they match pretty well, I think, with the rest of the hands options and everything. You got a little tear there and the little X or stitching, whatever that may be. So pretty cool. Big fat belly. I'll show you that in a second. And then moving on down, you got his roddy pants there looking all torn. You've got the torn up sections there. And again, very similar to the vest. Not a lot of detailing as far as design, but the sculpting's done, right? Like, it's done really well. And then you do have little subtle color differences that give the pants, you know, that sort of like 3D look that they've done there. You got the tear there showing off some of the flesh. And then as you move on back, you see there's some of the joints for the knees towards the bottom. And again, similar style, you know, you got the subtle shading there, and then right here you could see the back of the feet and the shoes. Again, he's got these wraps done in blue. There is some line work there. and I think they are done pretty well here. You guys could see that. So overall, I think they've managed to capture the detailing here on at least Earthquake as I remember him from the Samurai Shodown games. I think he looks really cool, and then I'm gonna give you a bit of a closer look there. But yeah, this thing is great. It's awesome. Now he is a big guy, so I didn't expect a lot of articulation. Again, you're going to get a lot of the same articulation that you get in a lot of these other Storm Collectible figures. So let's starting off here. I'll bring him a little closer so you guys can see him. The head here, you can turn this around fully, and then as I said, if you need to switch these out for the other heads, is you kind of just pop this out. So and then you can have him look down. The chest kind of gets in the way. Like other Storm Collectible figures, this upper part is softer plastic. That's to allow the articulation, you know, to give a bit more range. So he can look down probably just about that much, and then probably look up. You can use some of the waist articulation to make him look up. So I think that's serviceable enough, I think, for a guy this size. Then you come down here to the upper chest, and also to note here, normally in the Storm Collectible figures that I'm used to, this lower torso area is hard plastic. So in this case, this is soft plastic. This is not solid. This is almost like a rubber that they've done all around the belly. I'm going to assume that this was done to help with the articulation and also to keep costs down, because I'm assuming if this was all done with solid plastic, maybe the figure would end up costing more. But then that allows you to give him a bit of a range with the waist, right? You can do the whole shimmy left and right. The upper torso, again, as I said, you can move that slightly back and forth and left and right. Of course, he does have waist articulation, even though he's got a big belly, but he can turn that around probably about that much. It looks like you can go further than that. I am not going to be forcing my figure just in case, but probably about that much. And again, this guy wasn't known to be super nimble, right? He's a huge, big guy, big powerhouse there. As far as the arms, you get pretty much the same joints that you get in a lot of other Storm Collectible figures. So again, you've got extra joint there to pull the arm at the shoulder back. I don't know if you can see that. Of course, my figure being brand new, you've got, it's going to make a bit of that noise. But he can probably move the arms up that much, move them down as such. Full 360 on the arms here. You've got your bicep there articulation, so you get some extra movement here at the bicep area that you can use. He is double jointed, I guess, as far as the elbows here are concerned, so that's straight on. There's two joints. You can see the bicep here, it's sculpted, so that kind of gets in the way with the forearm. So that's probably as much as you're going to get. So slightly, that's about 90, I want to say. Right, it's the forearm and the bicep here kind of gets in the way of going any further. And then here on the hands, here you could turn these fully around, and there's joints there, so you can move these. It's on a ball joint, so you can move this in and out as such. Again, my figure being new, pardon all the noise that it's making. Again, big fat belly made of softer rubber there. I'll bring this guy a little closer so you guys can see that. The feet here, looks like you can turn this around. Looks like there's a joint there. Also, while we're talking here about the legs in this soft section here, he can do a split. Again, fair warning, the joints on this figure, or at least on mine, are pretty noisy, so if you need to do a bit of a split, that's probably as far as I would go with this guy. Again, you could see some of the joints there. They look nice and big and tight, so I don't think you should have any issues, but just be really careful so as well. And again, that's to help with the articulation. This is going to get in the way when you try to kick forward. So it is a bit limited in that sense just because of his size. So that's about as far forward as he would kick, and then probably back about that much. I don't know if you guys, I can give you a better look. And then you've got your double jointed knees. So again, you've got, again, my joints are really tight on this figure, so I don't want to avoid breaking anything, but that's probably as far back as you can go with this guy. Again, he wasn't known as a very nimble character from what I recall, but you can, you know, again, you've got your knee joint there. Again, nice detailing here on this section on the foot. And then what else? So okay, let's see here. So moving on down, pardon again my noisy joints, you've got ankle articulation, so you can move this left and right. You can also pivot this slightly. Again, this being a new figure, mine may just need to be loosened up a bit, but I think I'd rather have the tighter joints in such a big figure. Right, so you do get the ability to move the ankles, and you get your toe articulation here, right? So you can move the toes in as such if need be when you need to pose this guy. So I would say overall for a figure this size, he does have some nice joints. They're nice and tight. Of course, my figure, as I said, is fairly brand new, so that may be the issue why it's so noisy. But as you could see, I think for the size of this figure, you will be able to get it into some really nice poses. He looks great. The uniform, I think it's on point. The skin complexion of the guy, the accessories and everything kind of matches up really nice. And of course, you got big, tall Earthquake here, so looking pretty badass. And just to give you a bit of an idea of the articulation on this guy, again, because of his size and heft, I don't think you're going to be able to get, you know, a lot of great poses, but I think you'll be able to emulate some of the moves that he does do in the game. In this case, I just kind of did a basic pose of him standing, holding his weapon there. The only issue I had was getting the handle here into the hand. The thumbs and the fingers are soft rubber and do allow you to move things around, but it did take a bit of effort to get the handle on the weapon there into the hand. So I had to actually take the hand off the forearm, attach it to the weapon first, and then attach it back into the forearm. But you guys could see him there. This thing looks glorious, man. It's awesome. It's huge. It's a nice big chunk of plastic and rubber, and it just looks pretty cool. I think he looks awesome there. Earthquake holding his weapon there. One more pose here. I was able to play with the legs a little more and get them spread apart, you know, and play a little more also with the ankle and the knee joints. So as you guys can see, they're pretty similar pose to the one I just showed before, but just extended the arms out. Again, that chain and sickle accessory is just awesome. I think he looks pretty freaking cool there. Again, you know, the big belly and the fact that he's a huge guy does get a bit in the way of the articulation, particularly around the waist and the legs. But man, once you get this guy in a decent pose, I think he's definitely gonna look the part there. I think for a guy this big, I think they've done an awesome job. I think he's going to look great on your shelf there. Alright guys, so here's another one. I don't know what I was going for. Switched out the one hand here for the pointy finger, so he's pointing at someone, obviously. Got his other hand kind of touching his fat belly with his tongue out. I don't know, get in my belly type thing. But again, he looks pretty awesome. Again, standing straight up and down there with his big belly sticking out, pointing at his enemies. Again, switched out the head and hands, no issues with taking that stuff out and putting it on. But yeah, I think no matter what pose you put this guy in, I think he's gonna have some nice presence on your shelf there. But again, pretty cool. Great job by Storm Collectibles. And here's one more pose. Went ahead and switched out the weapon, so he's holding it on his left hand now. Wrapped the chain around the right arm, which again looks pretty cool. Went back to that screaming head. I think that's gonna be my favorite head. And I did get a chance to play around a little more with the very tight joints on the knees and the ankles there, but I was able to get him into that pose. Again, awesome figure. Okay, so we're gonna get going here with the size comparisons to Storm Collectibles Earthquake. Starting off with just some random, nothing to do with Storm Collectibles. Here is a Studio Series 86 Megatron. That's a newish release, but in case anyone would be interested in seeing the size difference there. And here is next to a again another Transformers. This is Optimus Prime. from their, I guess, the Shattered Glass Optimus. That's why it's got different colors. But just wanted to show you guys there the size difference or disparity in comparing those two to Earthquake. And here on the left, we have a True Force Mega Man X. And on the right, we have a Marvel Legends Death's Head. Again, doing all this just to show you the difference in size with this guy. And of course, because I love Ninja Turtles, here on the left, we have a Super 7 Slash, Super 7 Ultimate Slash. And on the right, we have an SH Figure Arts. It's a pretty old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Michelangelo there, again, to show you the massive size in comparison to Earthquake. Moving on, here on the left, we have a 3-0 deluxe size, deluxe scale Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie. That is a non-transforming figure. And then on the right, we have a Hot Toys. That is, I believe that's 1/6 scale. That's Captain America from Brave New World. And another comparison here on the right, we have the SH Figure Arts Emmy from Metroid Dread. And on the left, we have another Transformer, that is Shockwave. That is the Masterpiece Takara Tomy release that came out years ago. But again, just want to show you the size comparisons there. Moving on here to other Storm Collectible figures. On the left, we have the Orochi from King of Fighters Ultimate. And then on the right, we have the King of Fighters 98 Geese Howard, or from Fatal Fury. Alrighty, moving on. Here on the right, we have the Ultra Street Fighter 2 Zangief from Storm Collectibles. And then on the right, we also have a Street Fighter 2 Blanca. More comparison, this time to some Mortal Kombat goodness from Storm Collectibles. On the right, we have their Mortal Kombat 2 Liu Kang, I believe that is. And then on the left, we have their Shao Kahn. Awesome figures. So yeah, just want to show you guys there. To show you the massive size of Storm Collectibles Earthquake here. On the right, we have Storm Collectibles Goro. I believe that's from Mortal Kombat 10 or something along those lines. He's awesome. And on the left, we have the dragon that actually came with this Shao Kahn figure. Sorry, not Shao Kahn, this Liu Kang figure. Essentially, that's his fatality. But that was a pretty big figure when I received it. Right, that dragon is pretty huge. Again, height wise, the dragon's a bit taller, but the massiveness on Earthquake here really just shows there. So again, pretty huge figure in comparison to just about everything from Storm Collectibles that I have in my collection. And showing Virtua Fighter some love there. On the right, we have Storm Collectibles Wolf Hogfield. And on the left, we have their Akira Yuki from Virtua Fighter. And since we're also showing Earthquake here, of course, had to show some love to Samurai Showdown's Haomaru, also from Storm Collectibles. Awesome figure. Again, just want to show them both together so you can see the size difference. And on the left, I decided to squeeze in there the Mitsurugi from Soul Calibur, also from Storm Collectibles. And one last one here, we have Storm Collectibles Street Fighter 2 M. Bison or Balrog, depending on where you're at, from Street Fighter 2. On the right, we've got Axel from Streets of Rage 4, again, also from Storm Collectibles. All right, so here we are at the end of this video. Overall, pretty happy that Storm Collectibles gave us an Earthquake figure. Hopefully you got a rough idea with the size comparisons of how big this guy is, which is a great thing to have. I love my massive figures when we get them. One thing to mention too is the articulation is there, but it is a bit limited simply because of how big he is. But other than that, I mean, the accessories that he comes with are great. You guys can see the massive chain with the sickle, what have you, looks awesome. The costumes on point, the faces, again, really well. You will need a lot of shelf space to, display this guy properly. But again, I think that's something that's appealing to me as well. Other than that, really Nothing too major. I did note some paint here that looks like it has rubbed off on the knee. I'm going to see if I can get that off. But other than that, overall pretty happy with Earthquake here. He is a massive figure. Definitely really happy to have it in the collection. But if you made it to the end of the video, again, really appreciate your very valuable time. And yeah, I will catch you in the next video. Take care.